Hi everyone, I'm Simbi.
I'm Olamide.
And welcome back to our YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Merry Christmas. I wanted to say
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Christmas.
Don't forget the reason
for the season. And don't even just use that tagline to forget.
Yes.
Actually think about it.
Don't forget.
Even though theologians, Christians would debate, oh, this isn't the day. It's okay. It's the reason for the season.
The idea is we're celebrating the birth of
our Savior, Jesus Christ.
So don't forget the reason for the season, or forget to season your chicken.
Wow.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Because you know how to season chicken, Abby. You want to be coming for people.
What are we talking about today?
So, I did a thing this year. After 2 years of marriage.
Whoa.
I finally changed my last name. So I actually want to talk about that and how hard it was for me and how it made my husband feel.
Let's talk about it.
If at all, yeah, because
let's talk about it.
I didn't ever think like I would have an issue with changing my name. I didn't ever even think about it or what it would entail. I just knew I'd get married. I feel like in elementary school, if you ever played Match, I think it was called, you would like match your name with somebody else's name and then you always put, your crush's last name, just random things like that. So I think I used to do that, but I never actually thought about, okay, what will it take? How will I lean into this? Because I've always been Simbi Akani, for those of you that don't know me. That's literally how I introduce myself on my channel. Hi everyone, I'm Simbi Akani, for those of you that don't know me, something like that. And I grew up with an identity, right? The names my parents gave me. So to now think of when we got married, changing my name to his last name was like, oof.
Yeah.
Was a bit like, oof.
And it's interesting because for me, I never really thought about it, right? Because it was just like, you get married, my wife takes my last name. As simple as that. It's not that serious. Nothing deep to it.
Obviously, to you, it's not that serious.
I'm just
You're
saying,
not
like, from my own point of view, I never really thought about, is there a world in which my wife might have some sort of difficulty because of attachment to the name or different things, why, or maybe logistics or whatever the case is, why she might not want to change her name. That never occurred to me.
Yeah.
So when Simbi started talking about that, I was like, huh.
Yeah. And I mean, I raised all the questions like, where did this idea come from? Is it biblical, right? We know Jesus as Jesus, or Jesus the Messiah, or Jesus of Nazareth. We know Abraham as Abraham, Sarah as Sarah. We don't know last names.
Yeah.
They tend to have been identified by either where they were from or like the child of this person, or so it was more of that versus like
last
name. So I think after doing my research, I did discover that it was more of like a cultural thing that has just happened and has made it easier for you to like identify a family.
Yeah.
And in some cultures they actually do it based on like the mom.
I think it's in like
I don't know where it's from.
I don't remember what country, but yeah, I think there's some countries that do it that way.
Yeah, and like these days we're also seeing where people either like they merge their
compound name,
their names, they merge their names, or like they keep their own names.
Yeah.
Or they make a new name. I've seen that as well. I was thinking like, oh, why can't we just make a new identity so I'm not the only one that has to go through this pain? I really had to think about everything because I felt like I had made a name for myself. Like I recognize my name as like a brand name. I know I'm not any Kim Kardashian, but like,
Thank God.
there are certain things that I've achieved with my maiden name. Like my degrees
Wow.
are in.
That's the first time I ever heard you say my maiden name.
I guess to you, yeah, I've said that before.
I've never heard you say it. Even that sounds weird.
Well, now you got some.
Well, now you marry. Now you say you marry me now.
Now you got some. Anyway, so I have my degrees in my maiden name. I have articles I've written in my maiden name. Like, just so much history with that name. So it's like, how do you identify with a new name? Not only from that angle, but also how I identify myself. Like having to get used to introducing yourself in a new way. My previous last name was with an A, so I was used to being like the first on the list. Now I'm O. I'm like somewhere in the middle. So, man, I can go on and on and on, but like that was just what I was thinking through. So
I think for me, right, thankfully I'm very rational. I'm very
easy breezy,
reasonable.
beautiful cover girl.
Yeah, so like
Most of the time.
Yeah, like 80% of the time, which I think is more than enough. But you know, so with that being said, you know, when Simbi started coming up with all of this, you know, concerns or like drawbacks, I think, you know, I was very reasonable, all right, and we talked through them.
I did ask how it would make you feel, and at first I used to hyphenate like maiden name and current name just as I was trying to like transition. Yeah, I didn't like officially change my name, but just like online, I would use both of the names. Yeah,
and I think, you know, we talked about it, right? We talked about it, and I told her, like, you know, if you decide, I had to think through it, right? Like, okay, if she doesn't change her name or she uses a compound name, how
would that make you feel?
Yeah, how would that make me feel? And ultimately, I had to come to this place like, okay, it doesn't change the fact that this woman is my wife. It doesn't change who she is. A name change does not change your personality or who you are. So
yeah,
I just had to be like, okay, cool. It will be okay if she doesn't change her name. But at the same time, I also expressed my desire, which was, you know, I'd love for you to have my name. And I don't even know if this is like a man thing or a pride thing or whatever the case is, I don't know. But it's like, I would love for you to have my name. I think one of the pros is just being able to identify a family by the last name, right? So now when I call people, I'm like, okay, Simbi and Olamide, okay, law.
Yeah,
easy.
But I had always said that I would still be identified that way, like
right. But you know,
that would be okay.
Yeah,
for me.
but it would just be a challenge when you're talking to, maybe you're calling some, you know, passport office or whatever the case is, then you're not giving them different names, but you're talking, it just becomes confusing when you're going by two different names, one officially and one unofficially. So, but I think the main thing for me was to communicate my desire of, I really want you to have my name.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that?
What if we went against the grain and you took my name?
He
was like, that's like, he would never do that.
I don't know. I can't.
Why?
I don't know. I mean,
like, what's the difference?
And I don't think there's like any, because it's a cultural thing, right? So it's a cultural thing, but somewhere deep down, I know that I don't have anything to back it up, but somewhere deep down, I just feel like because the man is the covering and the head, it makes sense that both of you are under the husband's name.
One thing my sister actually
Mention.
was like, wait, but like the Bible says that the man leaves his father and his mother.
I know.
And is one with his wife. So if we're going biblically and
well, that's not the meaning of
speaking right now, but like honestly, like leaving and cleaving to your wife, maybe that's how that looks. Maybe you are supposed to leave your family name and cleave onto mine. That is a fair argument.
Well, I don't know that that's what the Bible was trying to interpret, right? But I understand the idea behind that.
Yeah, and I 100% understand and I agree with the whole like covering and all. I mean, which was part of the reason why I took the name. I mean, it was hard, but it was just like, again, like he expressed what his desire is, and yes, because it's just what happens in society and it's not something that's harming me. Like, hey, why not? I mean, I've said the reasons not, but then thinking about the things of like achievements and all of that, I've just, I don't know, adopted it as a new name, and I believe there will be so much more. And to be honest, I go by my first name like a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very much Simbi. So Simbi TM.
What's TM?
Trademark.
But
Okay.
yeah, what did your friends say to you about when it came to like accomplishments?
I mean,
like being in that space, like, okay, you know, I've accomplished all of these things.
The idea that you have so many more years ahead of you
to accomplish, like you have a lot more to accomplish.
Yes.
In a new name,
yes, which is like, yeah, but those degrees are still in the name, like
but it's still you.
It's still you. I mean, if you like,
I understand. No, I understand.
Like if you had to change your name,
I
like you just think about it.
I've thought about it.
You just try it.
I've thought about it.
Just call yourself a new name.
I've thought, and that's
Olamide Akoni.
And that's why.
How does that feel?
And that's why I was like because I've thought about it, and I feel it is like, oh wow, this is serious, you know, because you just think about, you don't really think about those things.
Yeah.
There are so many things that you don't really think about until it's time.
Yeah. And for
like,
some people,
wow.
and for some people, like,
some people are excited to carry their husband's name. It's different.
This is no big deal for them.
But yeah, I think, which is one of the things I love, is the fact that she was able to, you know, say, okay, I know you really desire this thing. I will figure out for myself, okay, cool, I'm okay with this thing. And me being okay with this thing is also partly because you desire it. Right. So
mostly.
And for me,
to be honest,
I feel honored that you have my last name. So thank you for honoring me.
Okay, and honor me back.
How?
I don't know.
Don't I honor you?
You do.
So, you know,
why are we having all these tough conversations online?
It's
to help people, yeah, no, but yeah, it was tough, and every time I'm thinking about this, I'm like, wow, I actually did that.
Yeah,
I actually did that. It's still different. It's still an adjustment, and I've changed it on most things.
Mm-hmm. Apart from the bank accounts.
The bank accounts are just long. Like, the process of actually doing it is long.
Yeah, and that was another thing. The process is so long. It also costs money, you know. But man, the least you can do is pay for those. Pay for the process. At least
that's a different conversation though, because it's our money.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really apply.
Well, that's for us, right? But if you are following a different financial approach, you pay for it. But yeah, I don't even know. I sure hope you took something from.
Oh yeah, no, like how to think through it, and just, I think at the core, surrendering will.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, but I think just thinking through. I think it's just important to think through things, right? Think
But it is at the end of the day, you have to like
You
if
don't have to, but you wait, right? Because for you, if it was like going to be, oh my gosh, I can't deal with having a new name, and that weighed more than accepting my desire and honoring that. If you didn't change your last name, I wouldn't have felt dishonored. I wouldn't have felt dishonored because I understand that it's you're attached to this name.
yeah, it's my family name, and I love the name.
Right,
like,
you're attached to this name and all of those things. So
I spent years learning it.
Right, I wouldn't feel dishonored by that. But so if that was more important to you, I won't be like, oh my gosh, my wife disrespected me. She's not submissive. This and that, blah 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 blah. That would be immature. But you doing it, I do feel honored.
Oh,
So
I'm glad.
me too.
Hell, so help us God.
Alright, well.
Alright, people, thanks for coming to our living room. I feel like we brought them into our house. Wow, we actually brought them into our house, into our business. Welcome to our house.
Welcome to my house.
Is that a song?
I think so.
Welcome to our house, welcome to our couch, and more on the couch story soon.
Alright.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.